Hey team, and welcome back to another analysis video. I know it's been a hot minute since the last one, but we're going to pick right up where we left off last time with Eliwood. Eliwood is the son of Marquess Foray and is one of the main characters of FE7. After his father Elbert went missing, he embarks on a quest to find him, and that is the journey we follow throughout both Hector and Eliwood's modes. So, as a character, people tend to think Eliwood is bland, and those people should go watch Gas Station's support science video about him, because it's super insightful and educational, but as a unit, they might actually be right. His availability is pretty great, since you have access to him for the entire game except for one chapter in Hector mode, and his base stats aren't really all that bad, but you could certainly hope for a bit more strength, since he uses swords and they tend to have lower might. The rest of his stats are all well and good. 7 speed at base is pretty sweet, and he'll be doubling every now and again since FE7 enemies are pretty slow. 0 resistance kinda sucks, but he has time to gain some before you even see a magic user, much less have to fight one. A con of 7 isn't even that bad, since swords tend to be lighter, and when he promotes and gains lances, he'll also gain some extra con to match. Even then, he'll still be pretty rescuable. His growths certainly aren't horrid either. All of them are actually pretty good when you look at it, just all around. So what makes Eliwood's gameplay suck? Well, he's sword locked for one thing. This means that he can only use swords for a very long time. Swords are a lot worse than lances and axes because they don't have access to common 1-2 range weapons like javelins and hand axes, which puts a pretty serious damper on your enemy phase. Normally this wouldn't be a super huge issue, just more annoying since his durability isn't bad and he's pretty light on his feet. The reason this hurts him so much is because there are so few axe users in the mid and late game and so very many lance users. He's getting weapon triangled from afar almost all the time. It almost makes you want to use Bartray. Almost. This is the part of the discussion where people tend to bring up the Rapier as well, but there are two things to remember with that particular weapon. First, the classes it's effective against are almost entirely lance users, so it doesn't actually help as much as, say, a genuine lance reaver. Second, effective might in American FE7 is doubled rather than tripled like it is in other games, so it being an effective weapon doesn't actually help it out that much when you crunch the numbers. Now, Eliwood does gain access to lances and a mount on promotion, and that's great. Really, it is. But that actually ties into the other big issue with Eliwood. Since he's a main character, his promotion actually comes super late in the story. As a matter of fact, if you're playing Eliwood's story, you only have 4 total chapters to possess a promoted Eliwood, and one of those 4 is battle preparations. Even in Hector's mode, you don't get a heaven seal to promote him with until after 15 chapters of having Eliwood, and that's if you skip all of the guided chapters. Until then, he's a 5 movement unit walking around behind everyone else, probably at level 20 well before his promotion if you're actually using him. These two factors combined make it really hard for me to want to use Eliwood in playthroughs of FE7, especially for things like low turn count and 0% growth runs. So that's basically what I think about Eliwood. He could have been a really solid unit if the writing and story didn't require certain things from him as the main character. As for whether or not to use him, I'm not really recommending either way here. You can if you want to and get away with it for sure. I just find him pretty annoying to use in the late game is all. At the end of the day though, you're the player and it's totally up to you whether or not you use him. Please let me know how you feel about Eliwood in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, the whole bit. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next week. Bye.